Okay, my loves, we're trying something new today. We have got specific channel messages coming through, and I believe they are for specific, if not individuals, small groups of people. So recognize that not all of them are going to be for you. I'm sure there's wisdom in each that you probably can glean and find and recognize patterns in. But what I'm going to ask you to do is to go ahead and choose a number or a chroma between 1 and 7. We're going to progress Roy G. Biv style. So 1 is red, 2 is orange, 3 is yellow, 4 is green, 5 is blue, 6 is purple, and 7 we're going to call, is it indigo and then violet? We're going to call 7, we're going to do like a crown chakra vibe, white. Okay. So go ahead and feel into that, pause it if you need to, and we're going to dive right in. Okay, babes, number 1 and red, this group is for you. I am seeing, it almost feels like those food coloring drops, and it feels very important to say that this is not the gel food coloring. This is the, I don't know if you remember them, they used to come in these little teardrop, raindrop bottles, and they were liquid, quite potent. And I'm seeing them, I see the sand, and then it almost looks like these little pockets or pores almost in the sand, 7 or 8 of them. And it feels like each of them is almost like a watercolor reservoir where there are maybe 5 or 6 colors, and then you've got 2 or 3 colors in your hand. And what I see you doing is going, and it's almost like a mad scientist experiment where you go and it's like, what is it called? Titration. When you are in a chemistry class and you are mixing 2 things together. And there's like a color change effect that happens when you hit a certain fullness, like when it's, when what you're adding and what you have become like perfectly balanced, there's a quick shift. And so what I'm seeing is like, this is what you're doing in your life, and you're dealing with a couple of different, how do we say this? You're dealing with a couple of different modalities, and you're trying to find your balance within each. And you have a number of different, like the colors you have in your pocket are your, what I'm hearing, shortcomings, right? Which is the opposite side of the coin of your gifts, right? Your shortcomings, the things that you are working to kind of gain mastery over, is directly correlated to your gifts. So I see you working, like there are a number of different modalities or access points that of service, and you've got a couple of your different shortcomings, and I see you kind of testing these out. And you test one out, and you, like, let's say worthiness, right? You're practicing Reiki, and you're seeing how worthiness ties in with Reiki, and you're using your color of worthiness. It's challenged with worthiness, and you add it and you add it and you add it, and all of a sudden the color shifts, right? And you're like, okay, that's enough. And then that signals you to move on to the next modality and flaw or challenge, like the color you have in your pocket, the next combination. And sometimes the modality is the same. Sometimes you're going to move on and you're like, okay, I'm going to work with, like, you just have to see what comes up next. Like, is it the same color that comes up in that ink pot that already exists? Is it Reiki again? Or is it, intuitive massage, right? Different, similar, different. And so let's say it's Reiki again. You're like, okay, well, I'm going to work with selfishness this time. I'm going to try a different tool, trait, gift / flaw that I have, and I'm going to work with that. And we go through these cycles. But this is just a reminder to you that it's so important that you work on your different flaws and gifts. Stop taking the same thing to the same modality every single time. It's making your energy flat, and it's making your offer susceptible to certain blind spots. You see what I'm saying? When you take all of yourself, all of your different flaws to the modality, not all at once, because that's confusing. That's not how you grow and evolve, because these modalities come to you to give you information and to give you gifts and to help you develop and grow your gifts through the information of the interaction, right? Through the chemistry experiment, through the interaction of them both, that gives you additional information. So my loves, just continue to experiment. Stop harping on yourself and focusing on one flaw over and over and over and over and over again, because it's dull, it's boring, it's out of place, and it's not the best use of your time, because there are a lot of places that you need to go. The last thing I see is, after these like 5 or 6 experiences with 2 or 3 modalities and a range of emotion and flaws, that's just kind of like, it's just the pre-testing ground. And then I see, like, all the way across the beach, there are people playing, and this like kid chasing seagulls, and this concept of like, you'll be ready to take flight in a matter of time. It's just, you're just in an experimental phase now, and that's totally okay. Don't be ticked that you're going to be here forever, and don't look over at that kid having fun with the seagull and either be like super overwhelmed and be like, ugh, I'm so glad I'm not over there, or be so jealous that you're not over there. Like, chill. In time, you're going to be in that space, and when it's time to be in that space, you're really going to enjoy it. So just focus on where you're at right now and have fun in the process, because it's not often that we get this very safe, sacred, well-defined and protected environment in which to grow ourselves. So don't feel too lonely. This is special. All the love. Okay, love bugs, this is group 2, or the orange pile. I really should have put this in landscape so I don't have to hold my phone the whole time. The message that I'm getting for you guys is almost like acupuncture waterboarding, or like, I'm just seeing the body, and it reminds me of this one artist, Andy Goldsworthy, who is amazing nature art, if you ever want to check it out. But one of the ways that he would perform art, not perform art, but he would create or interact with his environment and create art, was rain would come, and he would lay down and cover the ground with his body, and then he would get up, and there would be his outline that was dry underneath. And this was one of the I want to call it installations that he would make in an environment, and it was very ephemeral, right? The rain would continue to come, and it would get washed away, or it would eventually, like, the ground around him would dry out. Anyway, he had a lot of other different kind of deeper, more complex art experiences. But what I'm seeing is like someone doing the same thing, laying, and it doesn't even have to be laying down, but like when you're walking outside in a rainstorm, and this concept of the raindrops hitting exactly where they need to, hitting very precise acupuncture points, and bringing information to particular channels of your body. And it's information that is divine and source led, right? It's water, it's the source of our life, but it's very environmentally informed, and environmentally not in the sense of like greenwashing eco stuff, but the environment that you are a part of. When a raindrop comes through the sky, it gathers so much information, just in the particles in the air and the energetics. And it really captures a lot of info about the community that you're serving, right? About the people who live in the town, city, rural area, state. I mean, it has a lot of information, and geographically it can like, you can dial in and focus very wide or very narrowly. But just recognizing that a way that you in particular are going to get a download of information coming up is through a rainstorm. So like, and it doesn't have to be a rainstorm. It's even better if it's like a rain shower, because you'll get precise information, and you don't have to feel flooded or inundated in it. All right, I think that's it for that one, my dears. All the love. Okay, pile 3. This is yellow. I'm recognizing that you like to look at the moon a lot, and I am here to confirm that you are not spending your time wisely when you do it. It literally is work that has to be done. It's not like a matter of like, oh, am I making good choices by moon gazing right now? Like, am I like, oh, I feel like you have this need to like spend your time wisely, right? And it feels like going to the moon and looking at the moon is not spending your time wisely. Like, I've got some sassy attitude for that. What the heck else are you going to be doing that's more wise and more important than the information that you are, I hear, imprinting, not receiving, but that you're imprinting on the moon? You think that you're just getting information. That is not how it goes. Your gaze upon the moon's surface is impacting the planet. Whoa, is impacting the planet. I'm gonna just fangirl. That's so cool. There's this movie with Will Smith in it. And spoiler alert, at the end, they like stamp a heart on the moon, I think. And that kind of contribution is seen literally around the world. The moon, the surface of the moon that faces the earth is the same surface. The way it orbits, the same surface faces earth all the time. It's not like it twists and faces outer space, right? Or the rest of the solar system. The face that we see of the moon is always facing the planet. This is just such a huge mega impact. It's like putting a billboard up that literally everyone on the planet can see. What are you imprinting on the moon? What are you doing? Your role in particular is very precise. Not a lot of people are given this aptitude or ability. You need to be using it wisely. And that's what I mean when I say use your time wisely. Okay. I feel like the person this is for is getting the information that they need. If not, reach out and we can talk about this more, because it sounds like you have work to do. And I'm really excited for you for it. That's very cool. Also, vote of confidence. Know that you've got this. You will scaffold and build your way up. You deserve and you get to have time to experiment. You also get to have breaks. Just know that what you're doing is real, it's impactful, and it's powerful. So please use it wisely. Okay. All right, my loves, this is group number 4, green group. And the first thing I see is a rainbow, and it's not the only one. There are lots of rainbows. I feel like you can create rainbows to wherever you want to go, and you just kind of like, it's like, or actually maybe you haven't gotten to creating the rainbows yet, but you notice that whenever you happen upon rainbows, and for some of you maybe it's literal, but a lot of this is just figurative and metaphorical. Like when you feel like, the feeling of coming to the end of a rainbow. I don't know if I have ever had that feeling, but I can feel it in my body now. And you know how that feeling would feel like if you came to the end of the rainbow, you'd be like, oh my gosh, jackpot, right? Like, so cool. And it's mostly like when you find that feeling in nature, in the wild, in your day-to-day environment. You could be inside a building for all intents and purposes. But when, you know, when you get to that influx or like that, it's just like that perfect place. It's the end of a rainbow, right? And you have the capacity to, it's not teleporting because it's not really messing with time. It's just interacting with space in a way that not many of us are familiar with. Not many of us are not yet that experienced with. You're ahead of the game, friend. Okay, which I love this for you. I think you already know who you are. So if this doesn't resonate, just skip it. Find a different kind of experience. You have the capacity to go wherever you want to go. Wherever you want to go. It's going to happen more and more often that maybe this is just like teleporting in your mind. But who knows? Here, who am I to limit the magical gifts that you're experiencing? I'm not here to limit the magical gifts you're experiencing. I'm here to open up and make more known the magical gifts you're experiencing. Okay? So recognize that the more you take notice of what the environment, the surroundings look like, feel like, what the landscape looks like or feels like when you come to a jackpot space, when you come to the end of a rainbow, you'll be able to, number one, notice them more. And then eventually you'll be able to kind of like see when the right ingredients are around and kind of pull them together and create an end of the rainbow. Maybe not anywhere, but where you have the ingredients laying around, you can kind of like create that little portal space. And then as you're experimenting with this, like you'll begin to recognize in the middle of your transport your ability to like keep your ish together. And like, you know, I'm feeling like nausea, like this kind of travel or this kind of energetic experience can be kind of overwhelming, nausea inducing, just kind of like unsteadying, kind of like being up in a helicopter or plane or something for the first time. It's like, whoa, you're like not clocking things, right? But the more you get familiar with this, you'll be able to clock the planet a little bit more and recognize. And it's not only about where you want to go, it is about, sorry, friends, it is about the energetic spaces that need you and need your input. This really is just a vehicle. Like, yes, it's so cool, but it's just a vehicle to express your gifts and potency and transparency in the world, because you're meant to scatter disillusion and bring clarity into mind, body, and form. Clarity is composed of all the colors of the rainbow, right? Clear, like white light or a prism or a crystal, like has the ability to be dissected into all the different colors. When all the different colors come together, then we have clarity, right? And it just depends on how you focus the energy. So very cool, whatever that is all about. If you need more information, let me know. And this will come up again if it needs to. Okay. Because I don't feel like that was entirely the whole message, but I think that's probably as much as we can handle now, because it's like you have to do it. Sometimes if you get too much of the picture all at once, it just like you don't get started on the journey. You know what I mean? So let your feet walk and start, and trust that if it's not from this space, another space is going to gift you with the rest of your clarity by the time you're ready for more. Okay? So proud of you. All right, group five, blue group. The information that I see for you is, it feels like a flower. And you know how bees or pollinators of any kind, or humans if they're pollinating flowers, which we do intentionally for crops sometimes, and also cross-pollinating very special species like what's that guy's name? Mendel, who did the Punnett squares. Like genetic trait stuff. That's going to come back in a minute. Anyway, I see a flower. And you know how bees will take pollen from one flower to another flower, and then the flower receives the pollen, the feminine part of the flower receives the pollen to the one long middle thing in the top. I can't remember my flower parts now. And it kind of takes it down a tube into, I want to say the ovum, where the feminine part, like the egg part of the plant is. I'm seeing that you have the capacity, like this is how you receive and process information in the world. I see you very much planted in the same spot. That doesn't mean that you can't commute to go to work, or like, obviously, you can move around, but moving around is not part of your job role or responsibility. You really get a lot of information brought to you. And then the cool thing that I see is like, so you get this information, and when you integrate it, when you put it into form, it almost like, I see this like almost sonic boom, like shock waves to the planet. It sends out an update to everyone of new information. It's like, I don't know, are you getting this? It's like if you have one main server and you put an update to that server, and then that server like connects to a whole system and gives updates to all the cell phones out there, right? And those cell phones can choose to either accept the update or not, right? There's still power of the individual. But you have the capacity to kind of like, what you integrate you have the capacity to add to common knowledge. See what I'm saying? Like, what you integrate, the information that you get from other people or from other beings or from other planets, or I don't know, wherever it's coming from, you have the ability to like mass distribute it. Ooh. And I'm hearing that it's not used for good. Friend, let's have a talk about that. I don't think that you realize that you're doing this. I don't think that you realize that you're doing this. But now you do. And I'm not saying that you have to be perfect. You're a human. You are a human being. And when you recognize your role and responsibility and the impact that you can have, it serves as extra inspiration to go the extra mile, to get the sleep that you need, to be discerning with the information that you're taking into your body, and to be altruistic in what you're choosing to put out. Let me know if you want to talk more about this. But a task I have for you is to experiment, do a test run. Test a good combo or a good piece of information out there, and test one that you don't think will go so great. This is going back to the beginning, like the Punnett squares. Harry Mendel? Mendel is a last name. He basically, I want to say it was peas or something. It was a plant, but then later I think they started using this in fruit flies. But like the Punnett charts of like, you have a dominant trait and a recessive trait, and a dominant trait and a recessive trait. And he basically, I think, pioneered the publicization of dominant and recessive traits, and that you have like 25% chance of getting dominant, 50% chance of getting dominant, recessive, and then 25% chance of getting recessive. And that 75% of the time you're going to get the dominant message, and 25% you're going to get the recessive message. If this is above your head, go look it up. I bet there's a cool YouTube video about it. This is the concept that even if you send mixed messages, the light is always going to win. It can be mixed with a little bit of dark. And light and dark is so dichotomous, but that is what works with the Punnett squares. Got it. If you have light and shadow, it's not like the shadow eats the light illuminates the shadow. Silly goose. So don't beat yourself up that much. Get your priorities right though, friend. And start being a beacon of hope, because you have the ability to do so much more with your gift. And not to do more, you can do the same amount, but your impact can be so liberating for others. It can help people look and examine parts of themselves that they're scared to see. And that's pretty radical. The more courage we have to see the darker parts of ourselves and the more challenging aspects of who we are, I mean, that's a more peaceful planet. That's more food security for us all. That's better housing. That's more kindness. That's people helping each other out. That's people understanding that we're all human and that we're all trying the best that we can. And you can be a part of that. And I will be proud of you when you can do that and feel good about yourself. And it takes a lot of courage to look at this stuff. So here we go. Let me know how it goes. Violet, purple, violet, indigo. We're lumping y'all together. Group 6. The first thing I saw was, those communion wafers, but they look like Ritz crackers. They just kind of reminded me of communion wafers. But I see someone very Oprah style, like wafer for you and wafer for you and wafer for you, like tossing these out, and it almost gives me some energy of like dollar bills, like making it rain, and how you I love this energy about you. I love this energy about you. And I am curious about what transition you're fighting right now, because it seems like what you're being called to is placing crackers in very specific places and perhaps being less loud about it and more intentional. So let's go back to the church thing. People can go to a church of particular denominations, right? Whatever, and get Holy Communion on Sundays. And sometimes on Sundays, sometimes during the week, I don't know the restrictions or whatever about that. The priest goes out to the community, and I just feel so emotional about this. The priest goes out to the community and to the people who are housebound or can't make it to church, can't make it to the communal spaces, to get the body of Christ, to get and to not secularize this, but to widen this understanding, to get the nourishment that reminds them that they are wholly loved, accepted, and intentionally desired in this world. Like, they were formed on purpose. So it speaks to me in this message of the host, right? Of the Ritz cracker, of the body of Christ. That is so special. That is a very important responsibility. And yeah, it's less flashy than big guy in the robes, on Sunday, serving the masses, right? you might be going out in your street clothes, you know, you might just have your little collar on, not the whole robe thing going on. This is just really, it's just really important for you. It's really important for you. So I'm excited for you in this transition. Don't feel like your work is any less because you're serving fewer people. In fact, the energetic work that's being done in these smaller connections are ones that are saving lost souls, right? People who would not get to experience this otherwise. So you're very important in what you do. Don't think that this shift or change is going to change that. And I hear bring hand sanitizer. Because when you're working with vulnerable populations, it's really important to not cross-pollinate or to contaminate. And this really is about not letting yourself spill over into places where it doesn't belong. Not to say that that your hardship, strife, and struggle don't belong in places. You do. You absolutely do. And not the places that you're serving. Okay, that's enough. Thank you. All right, group 7, white clear color group. We're gonna stick with white. It's not clear. What was it? Another thing? Okay. The first thing I heard actually was, she's so high, high above me. She's so lovely. I don't know who made that song, but yeah, Joan of Arc, Cleopatra, Aphrodite. I just see this visioning for you. And the thing these 3 women had in common was the capacity to envision. It's not a real, like, to vision within, to visibly see and to bring within the collective. To envision, not envision, not create new from inside your body, but take what's outside of your body and hold it within. To be able to hold the collective pain, trauma, and suffering of the masses is pretty bonkers. And to be moved, by that is very special and done in many different ways. Like Joan of Arc, that was a martyr experience. Like that was the motion that led her. Cleopatra, like I'm seeing, like she was literally moved by the people, right? Like her physical form was moved, and to allow oneself to be supported and moved in that way is pretty radical. And Aphrodite, like I see that as like moving of millions within their hearts, right? Just recognize that your body is a vessel. I don't think you have a lot of struggle or trauma, or maybe there is trauma there, which is why you've developed this gift. But I don't think you have much struggle or drama in knowing who you are, because I think that you have known who you are for centuries, and that you have made the decision this life to know others and to know them in form, to know them in your form collectively. Yeah, I don't think there's any new information here for you necessarily. I just think you need to be recognized. And yeah, I don't think you even really need other people's opinions on what you do. I just think you need a witness. So thank you for your commitment to doing what you do. I don't know what purpose it serves, but I think you do, and that's all that matters. Okay. Thanks, my loves. All right, y'all, here's our outro. I'm going to give a little bit more information about what this is. I work with the Akashic Records. That is the way I have established boundaries and procedures around the way that I connect with the divine. Although I love, the way that I connect with the divine to specifically deliver messages to myself and others. Although we have different agreements for off time, right? Like, it's not like I don't connect with the divine when I'm not in this channeling space, but this is the way that I have been asked to develop these boundaries and edges and clarities and potencies. So that is what we were doing today. Today I connected with the record of the collective that Soulshift serves. Soulshift is my business and practice. Soulshift Channeling is how you can find me. And yeah, I offer energetic readings for people. It's the same sort of thing, but it's attuned to you specifically. Or I work with couples and partners. I work with business owners in the work of shepherding and exalting their business or like retail space or just physical space. I do readings for buildings and properties, all sorts of stuff like that. I basically just work with people who want to more clearly embody and articulate and exalt their energetic presence in the world to impact people more positively and to feel more fulfilled while you're doing it. Because we're here for a good time and a long time, ¿por qué no los dos? Yeah, what else? I'm glad that you're here today. Thanks for joining me. This is the first of, hopefully many series like this, and let me know what you think. Appreciate you.